Hey guys, Clumsy here and welcome back to ETS2. We are still in the Volvo Tandem, BDF, however you call it. And I'm still loving it so far. And I have a few updates that I would want to share in this episode. But first things first, we are now in a completely different region of the map. All the way to the west, we are now in Scotland. That is in Scotland, right? And we will be making our way, thanks to Jay's suggestion, making our way back to Iceland because it's been a while. And I heard that the natural luck skies could get pretty nice up there, so we'll go and have a look. Anyway, let's get started. I think I'm almost ready to try a different truck though, but I'll talk about that and I'll discuss with you the different options so you guys can chime in and we can all decide which truck we want to be the next one. Also, if you watched the last stream where we explored Chernobyl and Romania Extended 2.2, I activated the real dashboard as well from NFS HP or Oscar depending on how you know him. I like that in particular, the fuel consumption. Right, let's go and take the job, and it will be from 9 tons of dynamite. We have to be very careful here. From Aberdeen to, how do you say that? Hoffen in Iceland. Now I think it will need 2 episodes, but what we can probably do is split it. First episode on to Thurso, take the boat. Next episode, make our way towards Hoffen. Something along those lines, right? EVR sounds for the win. I've grown so dependent on EVR sounds that I actually am basing which truck to drive next and only following it if it has corresponding EVR sounds. In line with that, I mentioned I wanted to switch trucks already, and I'm ready to graduate to a different truck for variety. So suggestions are welcome. I got a suggestion already, I forgot from who it was from, but it was the Volvo FH 2009, the classic, the Volvo FH Classic. I'm okay with that, but I haven't seen an update with that truck, I think, in the recent weeks, so not sure if I want to go with that. But in terms of sounds, I'm not sure if there are EVR sounds as well for it. I do have 2 other options though, which I want to get your opinion on. The first one is the MP4 edit, Actros MP4 edit by Alexandru. I forgot the name, but yeah, it's in the forums. It looks pretty good. It has a tandem option as well. And I believe it should be compatible with EVR sounds, because I think that modifies the base truck. The other option is... wait, let me just park here. The other option is Shumi Staff XF06 with the beautiful realistic high-tech dashboard by Piva. I've wanted to try that truck for quite some time. The only difference is, the only thing that's holding me back is that it doesn't have EVR sounds. The DAF Euro 6 has EVR sounds from way back before EVR went payware. And I'm not even sure if it's compatible anymore. I think I tried it once, but I couldn't actually make it work. So I don't think it's compatible anymore. So I would love to get your opinion, guys, on... yeah, that's the route. And we will probably make our stop. Can we pass by Fraser? How do you pronounce that? Fraserburgh? Pass through Inverness. Yeah, just stop by there and then maybe pass by Wick as well to discover as many cities as possible. Looking good. Yeah, I'm guessing we have some pretty nice views here. Scotland is very famous for that, right? Right. Let's do this. So I'm ready to switch to a different truck, but yeah, pros and cons, guys. Pros and cons. Actros MP4 with EVR sounds, or DAF Euro 6 with other sounds, non-EVR, I think. There are a couple of Grisham sounds out there, so that might be great as well. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Those are the two that I'm thinking of. Let me know if you have other ideas, okay? And I have to remember that we are driving on the quote-unquote wrong side of the road. Our British friends will start complaining when I say that. Q Jack's I don't like it quote. Oh, pretty nice here. I'm not sure if I've been to this place before, and this profile doesn't seem like it. It looks pretty good so far. Okay, there we go. Driving on the wrong side of the road indeed. Alright. I have another update aside from that before we start with our Q&A. So I don't have many updates in terms of new trucks, new maps. I don't think new stuff appeared since the last weekend. Oh, dang it. Does that do dual clutch? I'm not sure. I was using the engine brake because Shunix told me. Shunix has been emailing me. He sent me a spreadsheet where he and his friend were logging their drives, and they were measuring the fuel economy, and they were testing it with different engines and checking the different fuel consumption. And it turns out that what was that engine? The Volvo 600 plus horsepower, 670? I think 670. Turned out to be the most fuel efficient if you consider the tonnage, the weight that the truck was pulling. I think the job that they took was 60 tons, and it got a fuel economy of 60 point something liters per 100 kms, and that didn't sound good. 60 something is not a good score, but if you take into account the weight, how heavy a load they were hauling, then it was very good. So based only on the fuel economy, it might not be that good, but if you include the weight, then it might be efficient. Oh, very nice here. Lovely. Love driving through Scotland. Goodness. ProMods power for the win. So, a part of the update, if you guys noticed, there was an ETS2 update that got released a couple of days ago, and the changelog was not very good. Was not very detailed. Look at that. That's the main update that I wanted to share. Shunix told me that one as well. He told me that SES has fixed the engine braking bug. I remember Shunix was the one who reported it to SES, and SES acknowledged the bug. And now they sneaked that fix in together with the minor fix they put in, the minor update they put in. So the engine braking fix is not in the changelog, but it's here. And how that works is, if you noticed before, whenever you toggle the engine brake, it would automatically shift down 2 gears, I think, and then it would go max revs. So you would always get that super loud engine brake, which was not very proportional to the current speed you were driving. Like, it would be too much every time. Now they fixed that, and let me demonstrate that. So for example, we do engine brake here. I'm at 10th gear. If I do that here, before the fix, it would automatically jump to 8th gear and would go max revs for the maximum braking power. But now, if we go 11th gear, if I do engine brake, actually it still does it. Maybe, but maybe it's not that intense. Let's shift down. That wasn't a very good demo. Like 10th gear. Now down to 9th gear. Yeah. Not as abrupt anymore, not as loud. Something along those lines. Anyway, I'm sure some of you guys might have more inputs on that, and Shunix will chime in. Wait for his comment in this video. Whoop! Huge stutter there. But man, I'm loving this view. Looks like a perfect village to live in, huh? Looks very homey. But let's not drive too fast, as we are pretty close to the speed limit here. Is that an airport? It looks like it. Is there an airport here in Aberdeen? Yeah, that looks like a tower. An airport tower. That looks like a hangar. Yeah, maybe we'll see a flying plane soon. Let's try the engine brake one last time. Yeah, that's better. I think before the revs even reached around 2000 RPMs. But it was definitely too much. So much so that I was avoiding using the engine brake because it was too loud. Now it's a lot more balanced again. And here we go. Now we're in the... Are we on the motorway? We're on A90. Smaller road, still very high speed limit compared to other European roads. You can go up to 97 kilometers here, which is what, 60 miles per hour, I think? Yeah, something along those lines. And this is probably where we can get some very good fuel economy if we stay on the highway. Man, this is such a nice view. Also, July is coming close. The end of July is coming close. And the closer we get to the end of July, the closer we get to the release of Natural Lux. We still don't have an actual date. Dang it, didn't notice the speed limit. Max starter also enables the engine brake, looks like. And let's use the engine brake here to see how it will go. Something like that. I like it. It's a lot more balanced again now. Also, I love driving tandems here. These very skimpy roundabouts. I like seeing them in the side mirror. And I like maneuvering them. Gives you a bit more different feel than having a semi. Man, this is beautiful. To take a screenshot somewhere. We'll see. Maybe we can find a bridge somewhere or something. Definitely has to be a bridge shot. Goodness. Alright. But yes, I don't really have many updates. I tried looking at the forums, didn't see many new things. And so I present to you guys the options of what we can do with the succeeding episodes. After we finish this job, at least, which truck would you want to drive, and which oh, that is beautiful, which area do you want to drive in? Let me know your favorite areas. Maybe we can showcase Natural Lux then. There's so many places to choose from. It's actually very hard to choose. That can actually work. Slow it down. Slow it down. just coasting here. Look at my fuel economy, getting better and better. Oh, that's a very nice building. Fraserburg? I have no clue. It's the first time I've seen that this place. I haven't heard it before. It's very cozy. Coastal city. Coastal town. Not a lot of folks though, but a lot of parked cars. That one I like. And there are actually like people hanging out. There we go. ProMods signature right there. ProMods confirmed. There was no doubt about it. This level of detail, this attention to detail, and this optimized performance. Yeah, that's ProMods right there. And there are actually people walking. Parked cars on the side makes it more lived in. Lovely. Anyway, so no more updates. So now it's time to go to Q&A. And the last Q&A I think was in ATS, if I remember correctly. Or maybe I did not remember correctly. Maybe it was not ATS. I can't remember. But it was last week for sure. And there, I gave a bit of a teaser about Jay's question. Have you ever gotten your heart broken? Oh my goodness, the good old days. Well, not so good with broken hearts, but yeah, it's one of those memory related questions, but I think I can remember some even if I have goldfish memory. They stung that hard. Anyway, so back when I was in school, back when raging hormones were a thing. Oh my goodness, being a teenager. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Ooh, Crap Vecco in purple. Barney Vecco. Wouldn't want to drive in that truck. So back when I was in high school, I did have my fair share of how do you say this? Raging hormones is one thing, but maybe love life, romance, or however you want to call it. Full stop, is it? I was kind of confused with the sign. It says stop on the road, but it says yield or give way on the signage. But to be safe, stop. No need to hurry. You can just relax and enjoy the road. Enjoy the trip. So I remember a little bit of background. I was a super huge guy before. Like, you have many terms for it. Big boned, huge, chubby, fat, depending on how you prefer it, but you know, you get what I mean. I was the biggest, or maybe second biggest person in the entire batch back in school, back when I was in grade school or early high school maybe. And that did not do wonders for my self-confidence. And I guess I carry some of that until now. Slow down a bit here. Passing through this very narrow roundabout. Yeah, still too fast. Still too fast. Goodness. Wrong sign even. I thought that was enough speed, but with that smaller roundabout, apparently not. So, yeah, it did not do wonders for my self-confidence. And it was not the biggest, not only vertically, but also horizontally. If you see me now, you might wonder, how did you become the biggest when you're not really that big in both dimensions, you know, vertical and horizontal, the X and Y axis? Well, I was, because number one, I am a Filipino, and in the Philippines during my time, people weren't too tall. Yeah, so I was one of the tallest for sure, but I was definitely one of the biggest, widest. Yeah. And I did not have a good level of self-esteem, right? But still, I was a teenager, so I started getting these weird thoughts of wanting to be, like, wanting to get to know some people from the, what's a fancy way of calling them? Some of the girls. Yeah, let's just put it bluntly. Yeah, wanted to get to know some of the girls. Had some girls I liked, and tried to muster up enough courage to face them head on. And of course, being a nerd, being a low self-esteem guy, that was not very easy. And so I was very shy. So yeah, couple that with being an introverted guy, not a very good combo for just talking to people in general, especially talking to people I liked. And so I was very shy, very hard. Good thing that technology was starting to come in. These were the days when the cell phones were starting to get introduced. You remember those days back when Nokia was king? The Nokia 5110. You might have had that phone for yourself or seen it from your father or whatever. The Nokia 5110 was the first phone that was really widespread, became very famous, and it was all these sheep. It was one of those things that allowed us to send text messages. Okay, there was no mobile data back then, and back then you had to spend like $1 for each text message. I'm not sure how to relate that to other currencies, but that was huge. That was like maybe a piece of candy. It's like you were buying one piece of candy for each text message that you sent. That was how pricey it was. And you were limited to 160 characters. Back then, it wasn't even possible to like extend beyond 160. It couldn't. The phone couldn't send automatically 2 messages if the message got long. It just stopped writing at 160 characters. So you had to like put a 1 out of 2 near the end if you had more things to say. But anyway, so thank goodness technology was becoming a thing, and my shy self had a fighting chance, even if I couldn't face the girls face to face. If I couldn't talk to them face to face, I could text them. Yeah, so that gave me a boost, gave me a bit of an edge. That's not to say that I was successful. There was a time, I think I liked this girl in particular. I forgot her name. Actually, I can remember her name, but I won't say it anymore. But I like her. I texted her. I got her number somehow. Don't ask me how I remember or how I got it. But it's probably not that hard because we were classmates, I think. Yeah. So somehow I got it. I started texting. Don't ask me how I started the texts. Maybe hi, or I don't know. The details are fuzzy. That's part of the goldfish memory being wiped out. Or maybe the painful experiences were being wiped out. Man, look at that sky. Woo. Foggy weather clouds. Goodness. That's beautiful. So yeah, started texting, and I think back then sending quotes were a thing. I remember. Back then sending quotes were a thing, like love quotes, friendly quotes. Like, people would forward them, pass them on. Yeah, so I think it started that way maybe. I guess a little bit of introduction, so we know each other, who was texting who. And then I think I forwarded some quotes, like friendly quotes, nothing dangerous, And we started texting. And we became close, at least via text. Not like we really got face to face. But yeah, so we became close. I started having hopes that there was a chance because we were friends. I was not familiar with the friend zone back then. I think the term wasn't coined yet during that time. But for sure there was a thing. Maybe it was just not named. But in short, in the end, I realized, or I discovered too late, that I was only in the friend zone. So we were texting, I was getting my hopes up, but suddenly there's this guy that came in the picture, and he swept her away. Next thing I knew, they were a thing. They were a couple, and I was like, what the heck? And then I was starting to like ask, and I think I even admitted my feelings, you know, something like that. And that was, I guess that was the ever heartbreak that I encountered. And it was silly. It was, I mean, if I imagine it now, I'm laughing at myself. But you know, when you're at that stage, oh man, it hurts. Man, it hurts. And it's a nice memory because it lets me know how far I've gone. Like, maybe not really that far, but still, it was fun. During that time, I can definitely say it was not fun, right? Oh my goodness, look at that sky. Natural lux for the win. Phew. Cannot wait for this to go public so you guys can also check it out for yourselves. Given that there's only like 1 or 2 weeks in July, if the release date sticks through, then you should be getting it very, very soon. I don't have details when, just hang tight guys, alright? And we will take another photo because I think it's going to be worth it here. Alright, a little bit of intermission. Let's do that. Oh yes, that is definitely a photo friendly scene right there. Goodness, look at that sky. So yeah, sometimes you get lucky. In my story, I didn't get lucky, but yeah, it was a very good learning experience. Anyway, so my heart got broken first time then. But we were still friends, or for sure, because I was friend zoned. Where else would I be, right? So I was friend zoned. We were still friends, even if she had a boyfriend already. But after a while, I lost interest because I was not after being just a friend, you know. So we were talking, and I admitted my feelings, and she was like, "Oh no," she was trying to console me, but it was clear that she didn't have any interest in me that way. And I think that was the main driver for me. Actually, that was the good thing. Remember my previous Q&A talking about silver lining, always thinking positive and always looking at the bright side? That heartache was the trigger for me that I wanted to lose weight. Yeah? Like, the heck? I have to... I mean, fat guys, we have the disadvantage. It's a very bad, how do you say, stereotype and very unfair, but that's the reality, like, right? I know there's like studies out of it. If you're a big guy, if you're a fat guy, you get less chances versus the other fit guys, like in job hunting, in courtship. It's not a universal rule, but yeah, you have a disadvantage in the beginning, yeah, for like first impressions and whatnot. And yeah, my first impression definitely did not impress. That's not the only thing that I had wrong, but it was one of the things that I could do something about. So I decided I did not want to be fat anymore, and so tried to lose weight during the summer break. Did my best to lose weight. I think I bought this. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this. This is one trick if you guys are large and if you want to lose weight. I recommend getting something. I don't know, a treadmill. Back then, the thing was, I remember these like TV commercials for different products, and most of them didn't work. Well, this one in particular did. I'm not sure if you guys had it, but it was called Timeworks. Timeworks, I'm not sure if it was only Timeworks with an X at the end, or I can't remember, but I remember it was Timeworks. It was basically like a multi-angular, like, bicycle, stationary bike. It was like a stationary bike with a twist, literal twist. You have to twist your body while you're pedaling, something like that. But we bought that, and then I remember during this time I was really a fan of anime, and Naruto, the series, was a thing. So I told myself, you can only watch Naruto while you are working out in the Timeworks. That's my deal with myself. If you want to watch Naruto, you get on the bike. And so I started getting on the bike, because the story was so good I couldn't stop. Every day I did it, and then I lost weight. And then after a while I also was able to control my eating, and eventually I lost weight. Actually, I lost too much weight too fast that until now I have some like excess skin, you know. That's what happens when you lose weight too fast. But anyway, so the next school year, so after summer, came back. I was like, whoa, what happened to you? Like a different guy now. And then I started getting more confidence, right? Because I looked better, I felt better, and first impressions, I had a better fighting chance. So I started really getting starting to look for other girls that I liked, and and I was able to find a few, you know, raging hormones, don't blame me, okay? Like deliberately looking for people. And yeah, so I found some, tried it, like texted them again. I was not yet that brave to actually face them, you know, and talk to them face to face during that time. I think it was early high school back then. So texting was still a thing. And I guess I was spending most of my allowances in text top-ups, loads, I think we called it back then, load. And yeah, it was a very interesting thing. So met a couple of got close to a couple of the ladies, but I don't think anything ever progressed that way, because in a way it was artificial, you know. It was like a rebound texting, because the girl I really liked from before did not like me back, so I tried to look for someone else that I could spend my time with, and maybe they will like me better. But I didn't really like them as much as I liked the first girl, so it didn't really push through. Like, even though the other side reciprocated that they liked me, I did not like them enough to pursue it, so it never really blossomed into something more, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so but yeah, raging hormones. So texting continued, and eventually, let me see. I'm trying to remember. It's hard. Memory, goldfish memory, tapping the forgotten areas of my brain. Oh, this is a very nice Inverness. Looks very developed there. That looks good, huh? The winding roads, it look like heavy traffic as well. That's fine. Anyway, alright. So after a while, I think I stopped that rebound logic. Is that the flag of Scotland? Don't hate me if I got it wrong, okay? But let me know. I think it is. But you guys let me know. Man, this place looks so good. So happy I drove through here. And man, oh man, this bridge looks very nice. A9. It's a lot more scenic, less urbany, more, how do you say, expansive than the England area, than the London area, definitely. Both are amazing, but very different feel. This is more like for vacation. Ooh, look at that. Look at that view. Blame the photo. Blame the photo. Oh my goodness, that hurt. Everyone okay? Everyone okay? Yeah, just the pride hurt and a bit of scuff on the painting, on the paint job. That's fine. Right, moving on. Oh, and a huge stutter because of that painful crash. Anyway, so after a while I stopped it. I grew out of that rebounding texting thing, and I've gotten over the first girl I liked, and I started not looking for love. I started just enjoying whatever I had, which is the way to go, you know, making friends, enjoying school. And eventually, because I still had raging hormones, of course, I started really liking some of the folks some of the people I was around with. And I remember back in high school, still high school, but like the latter parts, I'm not sure how it works nowadays. Oh, beautiful reflections. Goodness, that's a view. I think I'll have to take a photo here. I'll worry about that later because we might crash again. So I remember, what do I remember? That's a good question. Back in my time, we had 4 years in high school. So I was talking more about the first and second year. Oh, skimpy roundabout. And the first and second year were those texting phases, the rebounding, the broken hearts. That was that. Third and fourth year, I changed to a different section. I was assigned to a different section because we were starting our specializations. And this group of people, this new class that I was a part of, this became my long-term high school friends, and until now we're still friends. We're not that close anymore because we live abroad and we don't meet each other so much, but we still do reunions, especially during major life events like weddings, baptisms, stuff like that. We still meet and reconnect, so we are still friends, this group, and I'm really very lucky to have met them. These are amazing guys. Oh my goodness, it's raining now. No more time for photo taking. Alright, maybe low wipers. But during that time when I met them, so we became close. We created a group of friends, and it's a mixture of boys and girls, and started to develop feelings for some of them, raging hormones. You're not sure, do I like this person really, or do I like them as a friend? And back then, every girl I liked was for not only like as a friend. Blame the raging hormones. So that was the time when there are lots of romances that budded, in a way. Nothing really, I don't think anything ever came out of it, official boyfriend girlfriend, nothing to that level. But I did remember getting really close with some of them, and hanging out with them and really liking them and getting teased by the class, teenager stuff. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun time. But at the end of it all, now the entire group, we're still friends and we are very close, and yeah, we still meet, and we laugh at those times when we remember the time when you liked me. Things like that. Yeah, blame the raging hormones. Blame the raging hormones for the win. But yeah, it was a fun time. Very memorable. One of the best times in my school life was when I met those guys. Amazing group of people. And we are now living our own lives, very different careers, very different directions. Actually, my pilot friend, the one I was talking about, the Airbus pilot, is from that group, and he married a pilot as well, like a Boeing pilot, I think. And I can't wait to meet them again so I can talk to them about aviation, because back then when we last met, I guess last year, I was not into flight sims yet, right? So now I have so many questions. But yeah, the guy is from the same group, high school friends. Yeah, it was fun. So yes, that's my love story. There are more. And before Mrs. Clumsy, there was one. So I think officially, I only had 2 people I was with in a relationship with, and Mrs. Clumsy is the second and last. But yeah, there was one more person who broke my heart. And this was during college. Actually, yeah, she was also part of that same group, but now we don't talk anymore. I think she's the exception. So she's also part of that high school friends, and we were very close. Actually, we were not close during high school days, but we became closer in college. And we got together. We became a thing during college. We lasted for, I can't remember how long, but it was a while. I cannot remember for sure. 3 years? Oh, I have no clue anymore. I forgot. It's been that long. But yeah, anyway. And things did not end well for us. Of course, we were happy in the beginning. We learned a lot in our relationship, I think, because it was both on both sides. It was our first real relationship, so learned a lot of things in being boyfriend and girlfriend. Like we made all the mistakes, like being too clingy, not like being so stuck in our world, and being mean to each other or stuff like that. But we were not the best couple now that I look back, but I'm sure we learned so much from each other. Yeah, and I'm really thankful for that first relationship, because I learned so much from them that when I met Mrs. Clumsy, I knew what to do and what not to do. I knew I was able to like start things off with Mrs. Clumsy right, and if I did not know those, I honestly could not say that Mrs. Clumsy and I could be together, could have ended up together, because you learn from your mistakes. And my first relationship, I learned all those mistakes. Well, not all, but I learned a lot of the mistakes, the game-breaking mistakes, you could put it. So I'm really thankful for that relationship. But yeah, it ended. I got my heart broken. It was a surprise, but when it happened and when I looked back, when I reflected, I was like, it hurt, but actually after a while I was relieved, because it turned out the relationship was not very healthy anymore, and we were just, or at least on my end, I was staying because it's what I've gotten used to. But it was not a healthy relationship anymore in my view. So when it ended, after a while, after that really hurt area or era, I I realized that actually should be relieved, because it was not healthy anymore. But yeah, I don't regret that relationship one bit, even if it hurt. As I say, everything has a bright side. Everything is a learning experience. And even if we did not want it to happen, it happened. So might as well accept it and learn from it and be a better person out of that experience. So it did. And so I did. And yeah, it all turned out great. And I was able to apply those learnings when I met Mrs. Clumsy. Here, yes. But yeah, I won't go into detail because I don't want to badmouth anybody, right? But yes, it just ended. The first relationship ended. And there was a lot of hurt going around. But yeah, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. So that is the love story of my life. So not very many women in my life. Lots of almosts, I guess, during my high school days. But nothing that serious. There was one more person, I think. Yeah, there was one more person that I really liked during high school. But it didn't push through because I was too... what is the English term? In Filipino, we call it torpe. But I really liked this person, I remember. And she liked me back. But, the complication. She had a boyfriend already. Yes, so on one end, I didn't want to destroy a relationship. On the other, I was too shy to pursue it back then. Yeah, back in high school. So it never really became... We never really became a thing. And yeah, I learned a lot of things then as well. But yeah, it was a fun time. Now looking back, it was a fun time. Back then, not so much. But yeah, we we grew close as well, and I remember us spending time after school together. Normally I would be the type of person who never stays after school. I would go home directly and play games or something. But I remember during that time I would stay with her. I would wait for her. What is this thing? What is this term? The person fetching her from school. Yeah. And sometimes that would be late, so I would stay with her. Yeah, things like that. Yes, the moves. But yeah, in the end, it didn't. It was not a good thing to pursue. In more ways than one. It's because it's if you like me, well, I like you, and if you say you like me, then you break up with your boyfriend before we do anything, before we even think of going further. Right? But it never came to happen, so I guess it's either she didn't like me that much, or she liked the other person that much. But either way, it didn't turn out to be, which is a good thing because I didn't want to be that person who breaks relationships, Never a good thing. Other than that, I think that's my love life in its entirety. What the heck is that building all about? Interesting. Maybe a bit of a wrong texture there. Not sure if that's a known ProMods issue. Thank you for giving way. And we are on our way to Iceland, just in time as I finish that story. Goodness, that was the longest story I've ever told you guys. And yeah, that is the love story of my life. Hope you guys found it entertaining. Maybe you could relate to some of it. Let me know if you had the same experience or similar experience. Would be interested in hearing how you guys fared in your own love lives. Oh crap, I'm a bit scared. So you have a tandem, and I remember ferries are not very friendly toward tandems. But we will see. We will see. If we end up bouncing, then just look for a different job next time. Alright. So we are headed to Faroe Islands, or is it direct to Iceland? I can't remember. Let's check the map before we trigger this. Check the map first. Turso to Tórshavn, and then from the same boat, no, not the same boat, a different one, going to Iceland. Okay, okay. Yeah, that works. On to Iceland, alright. But maybe we can stop in the middle, you know, really. So next time is when we enter Iceland for the first time. I think that sounds good. Right. Stop here. Let's see first if we can even cross to the other side. Tórshavn, that's the one. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And Faroe Islands, which is that a different country altogether? It looks like it. It looks like a different country. There we go. You know what? Actually, let's make our way to Iceland because I'm not sure if the ferry is compatible. We might end up bouncing. Okay, now we are good. But we might end up bouncing later. And would not make for a good episode in Iceland if that was the case. So let's make our way to Iceland now and we'll continue next episode if we arrive in one piece there. Look at that. Is that a ram? Nice. Coat of arms. And now we should be staying on the right side again. It looks like. Okay, good. We're back to kilometers per hour. Perfect. What time is it anyway? It's 1:22. Is that in the morning? Yeah, it is. Goodness. Sun never sets here. Wow. Midnight sun. This place. I remember this place. I remember it being a lot more laggy though before. Might be thanks to DirectX 11 that we have things so smooth now. And maybe some more optimizations from ProMods side. Yeah, I remember getting quite a number of frame drops here in this place. Speaking of frame drops, so let's end the Q&A there. But I'll tell you another story. Very different topic. It's about upgrades. I'm getting really tempted to upgrade to a Ryzen 3600X because it looks like the super sweet spot between gaming and productivity. It also has a higher base and boost clock speed versus 3700X, and it's much cheaper. And it is available already in Singapore. And it is compatible with my current motherboard, so only the CPU is what I will be replacing. And the performance seems to be humongous. The performance gain seems to be humongous, coming from a 1600 to a 3600X. Some of the benchmarks show like, I don't know, 30 frames or something. Very significant. 30%. Yeah, it's significant because 1600, the one I have, is not really very good for gaming. So, and the 3000 series for Ryzen is very good now and very competitive with Intel. Although I think all in all, Intel is still the best for gaming alone. But I mean, if you're streaming on top of that, I think that's a completely different story. So I am very tempted to buy a 3600X. Might be able to make use of my Cryogen H7 cooler more there. I'm not sure how overclocking works now though, but I think I can just leave it in default and it will overclock on its own with Precision Boost 2 or something like that. But yeah, you guys let me know if you have comments or suggestions, okay? But that's what I'm planning. Hopefully I can get my hands on it soon. We'll see. Okay, one more trip. This time to... oh my goodness, probably that one. Yes, Iceland. 15 hours. So it should be around, what, 6 p.m? Oh goodness, that's not very good timing. 5 p.m. Still very sunny outside though. Can we afford to sleep? Yes, we have 34 hours remaining in this job, so we can sleep as much as we want. Sleeping on the job. Let's just get the tour of Iceland, park there near that rest area, and continue next episode. We have 446 kilometers left, so that will be quite a full episode because in Iceland it can never go too fast. But yeah, we'll see. Clear skies today. Beautiful. Very nice. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed that storytelling session. I sure did. It was fun trying to recall all those moments from my youth. Raging hormones moments. And yeah, those were fun times. I remember all the teasing, all I don't know the English terms for these. The kilig, that giddy feeling when you're you think you're in love. You know, it's not really love, but it was hormones. But yeah, back then, it certainly felt like love. Those were fun times. So that's my advice to you guys. Enjoy your high school. Your youth only happens once. Don't miss it. And if a guy like me, a big guy like me, who was super shy to the point that didn't know how to face other people, like I could only text them, and I was still able to do something, you know, and get a nice experience, make some friends, and create some budding romances along the way. If I could do it, I'm sure you could too. Yeah, so let this be an inspiration if you guys were having problems before. Having problems talking to girls and stuff. And it's a very common problem because like girls spend time talking about relationships, so they are experts at it. That's like their pastime. And I know I'm stereotyping here, but this is like stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason, right? But yeah, so girls talk amongst themselves about relationships, so they know a lot about it. They are experts. But boys talk about trucking and flight sims and gaming and all that stuff. So it is expected that we don't have a clue how it works in relationships, so don't feel bad. Just learn it, you know, get into it, start learning it, and don't feel bad if you get some bad experiences along the way, because failure is the way to success. The more you fail, the more you are on your path to succeeding. So just hang in there and learn as much as you can along the way. Alright, words of wisdom from Clumsy. Not sure I'm in the best position for that, but you have it, you have the advice. If you will take it, that's up to you. Alright, there we go. That is one half of the trip. Hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. If you did, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, comment, share with your friends and all that stuff, alright? Thank you for watching, have a nice day. Catch you in the next episode where we continue this off. Hopefully the game doesn't reset until then. Thanks and bye-bye. Clumsy trucking, everybody. Ta-da.